In one of the most volatile regions on Earth, tensions are once again rising. American warships patrol the waters of the Persian Gulf. Iranian missiles stand ready in underground silos. Fighter jets roar across the desert skies. For decades, the United States and Iran have avoided direct war. Yet today, many analysts believe the Middle East is closer to a major conflict than it has been in years. A conflict that could reshape global power, disrupt the world's energy supply, and draw multiple nations into a dangerous confrontation. This is the story of a rivalry decades in the making, and the question now being asked in Washington, Tehran, and beyond. What would happen if the United States and Iran went to war? The roots of the conflict between the United States and Iran stretch back more than 4 decades. In 1979, Iran underwent a dramatic transformation during the Iranian Revolution. The revolution overthrew the country's monarchy and replaced it with an Islamic republic deeply opposed to Western influence. Shortly afterward came one of the most defining moments in modern U.S.-Iran relations, the Iran hostage crisis. Iranian students stormed the U.S. Embassy in Tehran and held American diplomats hostage for 444 days. The crisis shocked the American public and permanently damaged relations between the two nations. Since then, the United States and Iran have remained strategic rivals. While they have rarely fought directly, their competition has played out across the Middle East through sanctions, diplomacy, and proxy conflicts. From Iraq and Syria to Yemen and Lebanon, the rivalry has shaped the political and military landscape of the region. Iran's military strategy differs significantly from that of traditional superpowers. Rather than relying solely on conventional forces, Iran has developed a strategy built around asymmetric warfare, using missiles, drones, and regional allies to counter more powerful adversaries. At the center of this strategy is the powerful Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, often known as the IRGC. The IRGC oversees Iran's missile programs, drone development, and regional influence networks. Over the past decade, Iran has invested heavily in ballistic missiles capable of reaching targets across the Middle East. These weapons allow Tehran to threaten military bases, infrastructure, and strategic facilities. Iran has also become a major player in drone warfare. Iranian-designed drones have been used in multiple conflicts across the region, demonstrating their growing technological capabilities. In addition, Iran maintains relationships with several regional groups, including Hezbollah and the Houthi movement. These partnerships extend Iran's influence far beyond its borders and give Tehran multiple ways to respond to potential threats. While Iran focuses on asymmetric tactics, the United States maintains one of the most powerful military presences in the world. The U.S. has long positioned forces throughout the Middle East to protect its interests, support allies, and maintain regional stability. One of the most visible symbols of this power is the United States Navy, whose aircraft carriers patrol critical waterways near Iran. These floating air bases carry dozens of advanced fighter jets capable of striking targets hundreds of miles away. Coordinating much of America's regional military activity is the United States Central Command, also known as CENTCOM, from air bases and naval facilities across the region. U.S. forces monitor potential threats and maintain rapid response capabilities. The technological advantage of the U.S. military, including stealth aircraft, advanced missile systems, and sophisticated intelligence networks, remains unmatched. Yet, Even overwhelming military power does not guarantee an easy victory in a complex region like the Middle East. Despite decades of tension, the United States and Iran have largely avoided direct conflict. But several flashpoints could rapidly escalate the situation. One of the most sensitive locations is the Strait of Hormuz, a narrow waterway connecting the Persian Gulf to the global ocean. Nearly 1/5 of the world's oil supply passes through this strategic corridor. If shipping routes were disrupted, the consequences for global energy markets could be immediate and severe. Other potential triggers include attacks on U.S. military bases in the region, escalation involving regional allies, or miscalculations during military encounters. Even small incidents such as drone strikes, naval confrontations, or cyber attacks could spiral into a much larger conflict. In an environment where multiple armed actors operate within close proximity, the risk of unintended escalation is always present. If a war were to break out, it would likely begin with rapid strikes on military infrastructure. Iran could launch waves of ballistic missiles, targeting U.S. bases and regional facilities. Drone swarms and cyber attacks could disrupt communication networks and defense systems. Meanwhile, the United States would rely on air superiority and precision strikes to target missile sites, command centers, and military installations. Naval forces could also play a major role, particularly in protecting shipping routes and maintaining access to critical waterways. A wider regional conflict might involve countries such as Israel and Saudi Arabia, both of which closely monitor Iran's military capabilities. Such a scenario could transform a bilateral confrontation into a broader regional war. A conflict between the United States and Iran would not remain confined to the Middle East. The global economy could feel immediate shockwaves. Oil prices could surge dramatically, affecting transportation, manufacturing, and everyday consumers around the world. Major powers such as China and Russia would closely watch the situation, weighing their diplomatic and strategic responses. International alliances could shift, and global markets could face serious instability. In an interconnected world, even regional conflicts carry worldwide consequences. For decades, the United States and Iran have navigated a delicate balance between confrontation and restraint. Both nations possess significant military capabilities, and both understand the risks of a direct conflict. Yet the Middle East remains one of the most unpredictable regions in global politics. History has shown that wars often begin not with deliberate decisions, but with miscalculations, escalating tensions, and moments of crisis. Whether diplomacy prevails or tensions rise further will depend on decisions made far beyond the battlefield. But one reality remains clear. If a war between the United States and Iran ever begins, its consequences would extend far beyond the Middle East, and the world would be watching.